Yeah, I have started the recording. Yeah. Okay. Have anyone did that created OData project? At least the basic, whatever we have seen yesterday.
Harish, I got a problem again.
Okay, what problem?
In BTP, I mean trial account,
Yeah.
I'm not able to connect. There is one, I mean, SAP ABAP project is there, right? There I'm unable to load this OData.
Why?
Don't know, it is not showing anything.
Okay. We'll check after this. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yesterday, what we have seen.
Are you
Uh,
recording?
yeah. Recording is started. Yesterday till this point we have completed, right? We have created the basic OData, we have created the data model, we have created an entity set, and we have added the properties, right? We all these are the things that we have done yesterday, and along with that we have created the we have registered the service in gateway client. Okay, in IWFND main service T code, what we have done, we have registered our service. Now our service is registered so that you can use in our SAP UI5 application. But before that, you need to implement your code. Otherwise it there is no meaning of using your that OData service in UI5 application. Okay, so first what we are going to do is we are going to implement the logic for CRUD operations. What do we mean by CRUD operations? On the last class, when we have discussed about this UI5 application, when we have consumed the OData service in our UI5 application, that time we did this operations, right? We have created a record. We have read the entity data from the entity set. We have deleted, we have updated, we done all the four CRUD operations, right, in the front end using the OData services. But how we need to create that OData service? Now, right now we have created the entity, and that entity name is employee emp set, and each entity has these five operations. What are those five operations? Create entity, get entity, and get entity set, update entity, and delete entity. Okay, these are the five operations that you can perform. Means for every entity, whenever you create, when you click on generate runtime objects, it automatically updates the method, and it creates the five different methods. One is create entity, get entity set, get entity, update entity, delete entity. These are the five methods that will create automatically. Suppose if you want to write a code for create entity, then you need to redefine the create entity method, and you can write your code for creating a record in the table. Okay, if you want to write the code for get entity set, then you need to redefine this get entity set method in SEGW, and then you can write your code in it. Okay, so we are going to see all these operations in the OData project that we have created yesterday. Okay, so I am going to that SEGWT code. Okay, it's timed off. Okay, SEGW. Yesterday, this is the OData project that we have created, right? Z demo OData, and we have created an entity type, and its auto associated entity set will be automatically created. This is the entity set, and this is the entity type, and this is the employee emp is our entity name. And if you open this entity, we have added the properties as well. What are the properties? employee name and number of days present. Means what is this means, whenever you call this service you will get all these three properties, you will not get other than this one. Okay, so what I'll do is, till now we have seen yesterday, along with this we have also registered our service, but now we need to implement the code for the CRUD operations. Okay, so then you need to go to this runtime artifacts. See, these are the DPC extension is the data provider class, and MPC extension is the model provider class. So we are not going to edit anything in the MPC extension. We are doing in DPC extension, which is data provider class, where you need to implement our. This is the place we need to implement our logic. So I am opening the DPC extension class. Okay, are you? Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
See here, whenever you open the DPC extension class, here you have one filter option. When you it means when you click on filter, it will show only the methods which are redefined. Right now we haven't redefined anything, that's why it is showing the empty method list. So when I remove this, it will show all the methods which are not redefined and defined as well. So right now I am clicking this button, it will show all the methods. See, these are all the methods that you can implement. Okay, see, for employee, for EMP set, it has automatically created five entities, five methods. One is create entity, and one is delete entity, get entity, get entity set, and update entity, which means it will create, whenever you create an entity, in the background it will automatically create these five methods for any entity you create in the data model. It automatically reflects here in the DPC extension class, and it will create these five different methods. It's not mandatory to use all these things. You can use based on this requirement. Suppose if there is any functionality that you have implemented in your application, like you are going to implement, like you have provided an uh, option for the user to delete a record, then then only you need to implement this delete entity. Suppose if your application has only a read functionality, then you don't need to implement all the other sets, you can only implement the employee set. So for our clear understanding, we are going to implement all the five sets. Okay, first what I need to do, if I want to write the code in get entity set, what is the first step that I need to do? Can anyone tell, Rajiv or Vivek?
Can I repeat again?
Now I want to write the code for get entity set. Get entity set means which will get all the records, number of records, more than one. So I want to write the code in get entity set. What is the first step that I need to do in order to write the code in get entity set?
You will declare the table, and you will write.
Huh?
I
Yeah,
mean, you
that
will.
is at the code level. I'm not
Mhm.
asking at the code level. What is the first step that we need to do? I have already told what we have to do, so I'm just asking. If you remember, you
Activating
can.
the service.
No, no, service is registered, it's activated, it's running. Okay. If you want to write, see what is the color of this? It's in blue color. Okay. If you see this, it's in a black color. Why this is in blue color?
Because this is inactive.
Huh, you can in another layman's term, you can say that it is not active. So what I'm doing is I'm going to editable mode. Now if it is in blue color, means it is not redefined.
Not implemented.
Huh, not redefined. So
Yeah.
first you need to redefine it. You can do by clicking here redefine method button. Okay, once you click on this you need to select this entity, and you need to click on redefine method. I'm clicking redefine. Okay, Now you can write your code inside this entity set method. Okay, so you can remove this. Keyboard, my mouse is not working properly, so I am unable to remove this code. Okay, Control S, I'm saving. So I'm going back. Now you see, whenever you redefine it, it becomes black. Now I can write the code inside it. Without redefining, you can't write the code inside it. Okay, so whenever again, if I give filter here, see, it will show only the records which we have redefined. If you go to the top, it will show. Why it's not showing even though it is redefined?
No, no, it is not up. The filter is not up.
See, if you give the filter,
No, no, the cursor is not yet up. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, see, I'm going up, and if I give the filter button, see, it will show only the methods which are redefined. Okay, now I'm opening this. Now this is the place where you need to implement your logic for get entity set. Okay, so if you see, there is a button called signature here, which will show all the predefined methods. Okay, predefined methods, and these are all the predefined work area, predefined internal table, select options. All these are standard one. Okay, when I'm pressing this button here, if you see the ET entity set, it has the structure of what is this class, what is the model provider class, Z demo OData. This is our model provider class, and it has the TT underscores EMP, which means it is used for returning the data. So what it means is this ET underscores entity set is the internal table which has the structure of what we have defined in the properties. Okay, what we have defined in the properties, it has the employee name and number of days present. Means it is saying that ET entity set is an internal table which has the structure of uh, all these three properties, and it is used for returning data. So what you need to do is, after fetching after writing your select query, you need to push all the data in ET entity set. Once you push this data into the ET entity set, whenever the user calls the whenever we call this get entity set method in our UI5 application, whatever the data that we have pushed into this ET underscores entity set will be passed as response to the front end. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah, outbound data to front end.
Yes, whatever the data that you push into this ET underscores entity set will be sent as response to the front end. Okay, you understood, Vivek?
Yeah, somewhat, Harish.
See, okay, I'll explain you clearly. What is internal table? Internal table is just like an array. Array means it can store
Yeah,
multiple records. Okay,
yeah, okay.
here ET underscores entity set is like a array, which means internal table in ABAP. Okay,
Yeah,
it can
okay.
store multiple records. See, after performing all our operations here, whatever the data that we push, we need to push in ET underscores entity set. Whenever the user calls this get entity set, after performing everything, after executing all our code, whatever the data that we are pushing into the ET entity set, that will be sent as response to the front end.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, so now I need to write the code. Okay, so I'm writing a select query. What is our table name? our table, you need to go to SC11. This is the T code for data dictionary. And here, if you see, this is our table name, ZMA underscores GW underscores EMP. I am displaying. Okay. Okay. Now you need to perform a select query. Okay. This is the basic SQL or basic ABAP. Okay. Select s- star means we are selecting all the records. Select star from what is the table name? ZMA underscores GW underscores EMP into into which where we need to push into the table ET underscores entity set. Okay. Now our work is done. What we are doing, we are selecting all the records from the ZMA underscore GW underscores EMP into the table ET underscores entity set. Okay. Now we have implemented our logic. I'm checking it. The types for the database table and the internal and the work area are not compatible. Okay, why? The types for the database table and the work or the internal table identity are not compatible. Okay, then what we need to do? Here we have given int. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe we have declared it as a string. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to entity types, employee, properties, number of days present. I'm making it as a string. Sorry, integer. Int 32. Okay. Whenever we are editing anything, we need to generate the runtime objects so that it will update the methods and it will update the standard internal table or work area or whatever may be that are in dpc extension class. Okay, now I am opening the dpc extension. Now I am going and say it's already saved, so now I am checking it. The types for the database table and the work area in entity et underscores entity set are not incompatible. Why? Raju, can you tell why this is error is coming in?
No, that is the message. It is not compatible. Mean we cannot declare any select statement here.
Okay, what we'll do is
You you
we'll
you,
move it
you
to
just wrote only. Mhm.
another internal table at the date. Um, you can directly create here entity set, right? Sorry, internal table, right? IT underscores data, or you need to here put IT like this.
No, no, this is correct. IT data.
You don't need to write the data again here.
No, nothing. Into table, internal table. That's it.
See, I am declaring the directly internal table here. I'm using S4 HANA syntax. So at the date data, IT underscores data. Save. See, now there is no errors. See, what we are doing is we are, so what I'll do is move corresponding IT underscore data to et underscores entity set. End of the day, you need to push the data into et entity set only. Let's see if we get any error. Now we are not getting any error. Okay, which means we our code is perfect. So what we are doing is, first we are getting the data from this table and we are moving it to an internal table. At the runtime, we have declared the internal table. We didn't declare this before the select query. We are declaring that internal table in runtime, and this internal table will automatically get the structure of this table. Okay, and what we are doing is we are moving this uh, IT data to ET entity set. ET entity set has the structure of the same of ZGWEMP, and IT data has the same structure of this table. So it can easily move the data by comparing the properties. It will move to the ET entity set. Okay. Now we have implemented our logic. So I'm checking whenever you completed your code, you need to save, then you need to check, and then you need to activate. Okay. You understood this, Rajiv and Vivek?
Yeah,
Yes,
Harish.
Harish.
Okay. This is the basic SQL code. Okay. We are not implementing a very big logics. We are just using simple codes. Okay.
Yeah, I am comfortable with SQL. I know it.
Yeah. Okay, now we need to test that entity set. Okay, for testing that, we need to go to iwfnd by maint underscore service. Okay, then we need to go to our OData project, OData service. Where, what is the
So,
OData service name?
so, Harish,
Yeah.
so if if we have a Fiori front-end server, then
Mhm.
we will log in that this T code in that system, correct?
Yes, yes.
Since it is a embedded same system,
See, we
right?
have means we need to implement all this in our ABAP system, but
Correct.
for testing, you need to go to Fury system.
If it is club central lab architecture,
Yes, yes. If it's central hub, because right now we are using embedded architecture, so we have all at one
embedded,
place.
yes,
So
yes,
now I'm
yes.
going to SAP Gateway Client. So here I need to select the entity sets. So when I'm clicking on Get Entity Sets, it will show all the list of entity sets that we have. Right now we have created only one entity set, which is EMP set. So I'm selecting it. So it is showing that emp set. For now I want to get the answer. In order to read the data, what is the HTTP method that we are going to use? Anyone tell me?
Get.
Okay, get only, right? So employee emp set and get. So now I'm executing. When I'm executing it, this code will execute, and whatever the data that comes at the end of the program, this ET entity set, that will come as response to the front end. Okay, so I'm executing it. See, the status code is 200. See, if you look at in the XML, it's clumsy. So you can add the URI option as JSON, which is easy to understand. So now I'm executing it. See, it is a JSON. Now, if you see, you are getting employee, employee name, number of days present, all the three data. How many records you are getting? All the records, all the table data you are getting. If you want to get the count of it, you can add the URI option as count. It will tell how many records we are getting. I think it will throw error because you can't use all at a time. You can just add URI option as count. So I'm giving as count. It is telling that we have 17 records. Let's go and check in the table if it's showing correct or not, whether we have the 17 records or more than 17. Number of entries 17, which means it is getting all the records correctly. So if you want to debug your code, then what you need to do is you need to put the breakpoint at the first line of your code, and then you need to set the breakpoint. Okay, whenever you execute this thing, whenever you are executing, I'm just executing this. Whenever you are executing this employee set using the get method, so it will automatically trigger the get entity set. Now I'm executing this. See, it's loading, which means it has triggered. Now you can see in the each line what's happening. So now I'm going to the next step. What is the first step? We are pushing the data from this table into an internal table IT data. So I'm clicking on F6. So now we have the data in IT data. See, in IT data we have all the 17 records. Okay, and from the IT data you are moving to the ET entity set. Right now in ET entity data set, ET entity set, we don't have the records anything. It is showing zero records. So when I'm pressing F6, the data is getting filled in ET entity set. Whatever the data that is there in ET entity set will be pushed as response to the front end. Okay. Now if I press F8, you can see the response here. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, Harish.
Okay, and now we'll go to that PPT. We have implemented the get entity set. Okay, which means what get entity set will do means it will retrieve the number of records more than one. Now if you now you have a requirement where you need to get the record of only one person. Only the one person means, suppose if you go to that, if you go to this table, you have these many columns. Okay, and now you want to get the record of now you want to get the details of which one? Harish. Okay, and what is the unique value that is here? It's a personal number, which is
Employee number.
nothing but employee ID. So you need to use this primary key if you want to get the record complete details of that particular ID. Okay, whenever you are in an organization, if you are applying anything, the first thing that they'll ask is employee ID. They'll ask you, they'll don't ask you your employee name, father name, phone number. They'll not ask you anything. They'll just ask employee ID, because with the help of employee ID, you can find anything. Okay, so here that's why we have made it as a key. If you want to get all the details of an employee, if you say the employee name, there might be an employee with the same name as two employees, so which it's not an unique. So here the employee ID is the unique one. So if you want to get the single record of it, then you need to pass the employee ID. Okay, so right now we have implemented get entity set only. Now I am going to implement the get entity because I want to get only one record of that particular employee. So now what I need to do? Can anyone tell where I need to write my code?
Read.
Read. It's already we have. What is read?
Get entity.
Get entity. Why get entity we are choosing?
Single record to fetch.
Yes. First we need to redefine it, right? So I'm going to editable mode. Now I'm redefining it. It's redefined. So it become black color. Now I'm going up and I'm clicking on filter. Now it is redefined. So now we need to write our code here. Okay. So what I'll do is save, check, activate. So what I'll do is I'll try to call the get entity without writing the code or without redefining it. So what happens, so if you want to get the employee record of particular one person, what is the you need to pass that key value. What is the key that we have defined? The employee is the
Partner.
key. So you need to pass this employee. Okay, I'm copying this, control C. I need to pass this one employee, so it's not getting employee. Okay, I need to pass some value. Okay, now I'm passing some value called 12. Okay, now I'm executing it. It will throw an error because we haven't implemented the get entity. Okay, if you want to get the get single record, then you need to implement get entity. We have redefined it, but we didn't write any code in that. So now we'll go and write in code inside this one. Okay, now uh, ER entity. If you see, ER entity is the work area which has the structure of the properties which we have defined in the model provider class. Okay, in the data model, in the entity employee, we have created three fields, right? Employee, employee name, and number of days present. Uh, this ER entity is the work area, which means it's like an object in ABAP, object in JavaScript. It can store only one record. It has the structure of employee set, and it is used for returning the data. Okay, understood, Rajiv and Vivek? Why? What is ER entity?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm passing this value. Okay, this is fine. I'm passing 12. Suppose I'm passing 12 to the this entity set. Now, how can this ABAP program know that what is the value that the user has passed? How it knows? Okay.
Through coding only, right?
Yeah. See, how we'll get how the ABAP program know that you are passing 12, you are passing any number.
That get entity method.
How we are just getting the we are just writing the program here, we are just writing the code here. How this ABAP program knows that user is passing this value? You can't assume, right? User is passing 12 or 13. You need to explicitly get that value. Okay, for that again you have this IT key tab, which is the name value pair table for name value pairs. In this IT key tab, you will get the values, whatever the values that the user has passed in the primary key. Okay, so first what you need to do is it's an internal table. Okay, so first you need to write your select query. Okay, before writing the select query, what you need to do, you need to get the data from IT key tab. In IT key tab, it's a name value pair structure, it which will get the data whatever the user has passed. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll declare an data. I'll declare the uh, there is already an internal table. So what I'll do is I'll create a work area, ls underscores key underscores tab type. What is the type? It has to be the same type of IT key tab. So I'm using this. Okay, understood, Rajiv and Vivek, why I'm declaring this?
Yeah.
Okay, ls key tab, it can store only one record. internal tab in IT key tab, we'll get multiple records. So from this IT key tab, you need to what I'm doing, I'm reading that IT key tab. Okay, read table IT underscores key underscores tab. So I'm reading IT key tab into LS key tab. Okay, based on what condition? With key name equal to what is then what is the property we are passing in?
Employee.
Employee property. So I need to specify here that property name. So I'm passing employee. Okay, okay, employee means if it is successful, then you need to proceed to the next table. Means if it is successful, there is one system variable called size bar c. It will if what happens if there is any data in ls key tab, then that system variable will become 0. Okay, if size bar c, size bar c equal to 0, which means our we are getting something in ls key tab. Okay, and if so in here you need to write our select query, select single record. We are because our er entity is for storing the single record. If you are
Single record.
giving the star, it will give an error. So I'm telling that select single record from select single star, because we are fetching all the columns. Select single star from what was our table name? ZMA something, right? uh, okay, ZMA underscores GW underscores EMP. This was our table. Okay, into which where we have to move at the end of the program. Can anyone tell where we need to move? Rajiv, you can tell, you already pro in abap na, where we need to move this record.
ER entity,
Yes, who told this, Rajiv or Vivek?
Vivek.
Yeah, then you are on the correct path, you are learning. Okay, so ER entity is the work area where we are moving or a single record. Whatever the data that is there in ER entity will be passed as response to the front end. Okay, and here we need to mention that condition where employee, we are passing employee ID equal to in which where the employee is stored from the front end, we are storing it in ls key tab. ls key tab ls key tab is the work area which has only two properties. One is name and another one is value. And then we are storing only that if the name is employee, then we are storing it in ls key tab. Then in ls key tab, the other one, other property, that is value. So in okay, it is in value, means we are passing this value. Okay, now I am trying to save. I think it might give you an error. ls key tab cannot be converted to the row type it key tab. Why? Into ls key tab, ls key tab cannot be converted.
Can you put WA rather than LS keter?
Yeah, it no, it's not like that. You can declare any, right? Variable name is our choice. WA key tab cannot be converted to the row type of IT key tab. Read table IT key tab into WA key tab with key name equal to employee. It's correct only, right? What's the issue here?
No, read table is correct.
Yeah, read table is correct. WA
Select single.
select single, that is also fine. WA key tab type.
See, you are saying that ZMA GWEMP using this method, entities get entity, the values are already inside the table you are saying. Is it correct?
See, what I'm doing is in IT key tab is an internal table which you will get whatever the values that user has passed. So it has the many
Correct.
records. So I'm filtering the record which has the employee employee name. So I'm getting that record in WA key tab. So and in the WA key tab I have two values. One is name and another one is value. So I'm passing that value from the work area into that select query.
No, that I understand. But
Hmm.
then again, you are reading select single from the table, database table now.
Yeah.
Before it was a runtime table. Now from the database table to the ER entity method, which is your ER entity is not a table, it's a method, right?
See, ER
Internal
entity is a
table, I will
work
say.
area. ER entity
Work
is a
area.
work area. That
Then
is
you are
fine.
using
It's
two
giving.
work area here.
See, that
Work
is
area to work area you are doing actually.
what work area to work area. See, this is IT
You
key
see,
tab is a IT key tab as an internal table, and from the
correct,
internal table we are moving it to the work area based on this employee name. Here we are
correct.
passing. This is a different one. This is we are passing the select single record after getting the value into the WA key tab whatever the user has passed. It's not at all going here. It's giving the error here. First we need to rectify this. Then this will be error will be automatically gone. WA key tab. What's the issue? If size sub rc equal to 0, let me check.
You declared the table actually. Is it
See, I
see
have
data no data equals to work area you type you mentioned. Also we need to mention the data our database table, right? ZMA GWEMP.
okay, let's try like this. No, we can't. Yeah, tell me.
The data you declared this table, internal table on the type you mentioned typing. So also we need to mention our database table, right? ZMA GWEMP
Where,
on
where?
the data about line number 19 below.
See, this is the type of this work area is the type of this structure.
Internal table.
This internal table is it has a structure of this one. So
Okay.
I'm using this structure. This internal table has the structure of this work area has the structure of this internal table.
Correct.
Hmm.
Also we are selecting the data from the database table, right?
Yeah.
We are so that we should not declare as a data colon GMA DW on the line after line number 20.
See, we are directly moving it to ER entity itself. ER entity, this one.
That is your processing source code, Harish.
See, this is fine, but see, error is coming here. WA key tab in the line 21, it's telling that WA key tab cannot be converted to the row type of IT key tab. The reverse is also not possible. Why? I'm not able to understand.
Press F1 over there
Where?
in the
Yes.
yellow. Yellow. in the yellow error message. F1. Nothing.
No.
Select the display one. Display long text. Select the error and then first icon. Yeah. Display. Nothing coming.
Data WA key type, type, name, value, pair, read table into if if is ending here. Okay, this is fine. IWBT underscore J value pair, read table IT key tab into WA key tab with key name equal to employee. This is correct only. Where we are missing
Can you
internal
bring
converter.
WA? Hmm?
Yeah, 1 minute. Internal table cannot be converted to row type type of the reverse is also not possible. Appending lines of insert lines of corresponding append lines of GA to mail text is the structure and the mail text replace appending. Convert work area to the line type of an internal table. Like line of, we can also use like line of, right? So let's use like line of IT underscore key underscore tab. The data test. Okay. See now move corresponding. So what I'll do is at the date data here at the runtime I'll creating an IT underscore ls underscore entity. Okay. Now I'm moving corresponding ls entity to er underscore entity. Okay. Check. Okay. Save, check, activate. Now this is fine. Okay. So I'll explain you line by line. Vivek, no worry. Don't worry. See now I want to pass some value to it. So I'm passing 24 number. Okay. I'm passing. I'll copy this value. How many zeros are there? One, two, three, four, five, six. Six zeros followed by 24. Okay. So I'll put the debugger and I'll explain you. Okay. You understood, right, Rajiv? What we have done?
Yes, yes, Harish.
Hmm. Okay. Now I'll pass some value here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 24. What is the what is the name of the 24th record? It was ABCDEFG something. So what I'll do is I'll put a breakpoint here. Okay. Now I am triggering it. So I'm passing this employee ID. Whenever you pass something like this, it treated it will it will understand that I'm calling the get entity. So I'm executing it. Our get entity will trigger. See, our get entity has triggered in IT key tab. It is a table whatever the values that you pass will automatically come here in EIT key tab. See, we are passing 24 from the gateway client, right? So it has automatically added that data to this table. It has the two columns. One is name and the another one is value. It can have the multiple records also. And in the employee, we are passing the value 24. Okay, and bu- uh, we uh, we are from this internal table, we are pushing it into a work area with the by matching with the name employee. So if you see in the W key tab right now, we don't have any data. Why it is showing like this? Because it can store only one record which has two values. One is name and another one is value. Whenever you execute this next step, it fills this WA key tab because we have already a record in the internal IT key tab with the employee. So it will push that record into the WA key tab. Okay. Now I'm going to the next step. See, in the work area now, there is one value filled, employee, and the value is this one. So now we need to pass this work area, WA key tab values in the select query, in our select query. So and what I'm doing, I'm calling select single query. Why I'm using single means we are going to get only one record. Star means we are getting all the columns from ZMA this table and into work area. Why we are using work area means it we are getting only one record, and we have we at the runtime we have declared the work area using at the date data. This is S4 HANA syntax. Okay. And where employee equal to, and we are telling that in this is the work area. In the work area for the column value, you have the value that is passed from the front end. If you click here, what is the value that we are having? It is passed from the front end. This 24 value is passed from the front end. So once I execute, now you will get the data in ls entity. Right now our ls entity is empty. See, it has no records, it has all the zero values. Okay, now when I'm executing it, see, now ls entity has some data. See, we are getting a b c d e f g and the number of days present as 7 and the employee is 24. Now we are moving that ls entity into er entity. In er entity, we have the final values. Now if I execute, if I press this, this will pass as response to the front end. See, we are getting 24, a b c d e f g 7. Okay, understood, Rajiv and Vivek?
Yes, Harish.
Okay. Now, what is the next step? We have performed the two methods. One is get entity set, and the other one is get entity. Now, what is the next step that we are going to do? We are going to create. Okay. We are going to create an record in the table. Right now, how many records we have in the table? We have 17 records. Now, I want to create a new record in it. So, for that, I need to redefine the create entity method, right? Why it's not going back? Yeah, it went. So I need to redefine the create entity method. If I want to implement the create entity, then I need to redefine the create method. So I'm just redefining it. So I'm going up, putting the filter. See, create entity is now. Okay. See, but for creating and record in the backend, what we need to pass everything. Everything means you need to pass. Suppose, okay, where the client. Oh, so get entity. I'm getting an record and I'm passing employee ID. EMPLOEE. What value we passed? We passed 24. 4, 5, 6, 24. Okay, I'm clicking on execute. See, we are getting one record. So you need to, if you want to insert a record, you need to give the employee ID, you need to give the employee name, you need to pass all these values from the front end, right? Okay, you need to pass all these three values to the front end. So you need to pass all these values. So you need to pass this payload to the back end. Okay, whenever you are using the post operation. So you can copy everything, control C, and you need to paste here. Whatever you pass here, that will be passed as payload to the backend. So you can simply use as a request. So it will automatically gets copied here. Now I want to create a record with name Raju. Okay, and his number of days present is 22, and employee ID. See, we won't create an employee ID, right? It should be created automatically. So I'm passing zero values in employee. When I
So
what is
Harish,
the
so in this box, left hand side is
payload that we are
pulling
pulling to the
income to the, I mean, inbound to the payload to the backend system, correct?
yes, yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay.
Now I'm passing all this data to the backend in order to create a record. What is the HTTP method that we are going to use for uh, creating a record?
Post.
Post. So I'm going to select post. Now I'm executing it. Will it create a record
Mail
in the backend?
query. No, you have to remove that 24, no?
What 24?
In the request URI.
Okay, okay, I'll remove this. Okay, I have removed that one, and I'm passing here the payload and selecting the HTTP request as post. Now I'm executing it.
No, it won't, no? You need to write a code, right?
Yes, we haven't implemented. That's why it is giving an error that create entity is not implemented in data provider class. So now I'm going to create entity, and now I'm writing my code here. Okay. Now we need to, what we need to do, we need to get the data from the front end first. Whatever the user is passing the payload, that we need to get, right? So I there is one IO data provider. What this will do is it will provide the data from the front end. Whatever the user is passing the payload here, whatever the user that is passing here in the form of payload, that this IO data provider is responsible for providing that data in the ABAP program. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm calling that IO with the help of IO data provider. I'm getting the data, IO data provider, and it has this method called read entry data. Read underscores entry underscores data means we are getting the entry data, and from that we are importing es data. These are all the standard methods. Okay, in that in from the es data we are going to get the data. So before that you need to declare a variable uh, so that you can store that es data in somewhere. So I'm trying to declare at runtime. Let's see. Es data ls underscore emp. Okay,
What is ES? What is ES data?
es data, it is a standard one. See,
Mm-hmm.
this IO data provider, it has the method read entry data. From that, we are importing the ES data. In that ES data, whatever the data that we are passing here will be there in ES data. So what we are doing
No,
is
no,
we are,
no. Harish.
hmm,
If you go to the you are in the method, right? So
Yes.
in this method, you have import export parameters, right?
Yeah.
You don't. So we are not using that.
See, we are just importing the data from this IO data provider using the read entry method. In it has the importing parameter as ES data. In the ES data, we'll get this data whatever the user has passed. So what
That's
I'm
correct.
doing is
But
I'm
no,
pushing that into an internal table. Okay,
but if you go one step back
where
in the same skin, one step back. The same. No, no, not here. The
hmm,
another skin.
hmm.
One step back.
One step back means
Go back one step back. The back arrow.
okay.
So here
Hmm.
you have a parameters, right?
Where
You see there is a parameter tab.
yeah.
Okay. So in
See
this parameter, uh,
IO data provider
uh,
importing. Okay.
yes, yes.
See, whatever you are seeing in signature, all the other showing there. That is,
Okay,
you are
okay,
not seeing any different one there.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay,
But you okay, fine. So see, usually when we write a function module, right, we use the same method and class, and
okay,
we put importing data and exporting data as a parameter. That's what I'm
okay.
asking.
LSM. See, what we are doing now, we are declaring an internal table, sorry, work area of type our table. What was our table name? ZMA underscore GW underscore EMP. So, what we are doing, we are getting the data into LSEMP. ls underscore emp. Okay, now what happens? Why we are getting the error here? Okay, I need to give gap. Okay, now I am saving it. Okay, activating it. Now we got the data from the we are whatever the data we are getting, this data we have performed this operation, and we are pushing that payload whatever the user has passed into this LSEMP. Now what we need to do, now we need to insert this record into the backend table, right? So what we need to do is, um, first we need to see, we are not going to tell the user that to give the employee ID. We have to create the employee ID. So what I'll do is, first I'll create the employee ID for the user. How I'll create? Let's go to the table now. I'll need to open a new one.
Control N, Control N.
S11. Yeah, S11. And if you see, 24th is the last one. What is the next ID of that next person? It will be 25, right?
Yes.
So what I need to do is, I need to get the highest personal number, and I need to increment it by 1, right? So first I need to get the max number record. So I'm writing this query: max select a single max, it will, which will get the highest record. Select max of employee. Okay, employee. Okay, means this is the column name. What it will do is, it will select the maximum highest number employee ID from which table? ZMA underscores GW underscores EMP. This is our table, right? Into, so what we are doing is, we are pushing that into an variable. So at runtime, we are creating an LVEMP. At runtime, I am creating a variable, local variable. Okay, LV stands for local variable employee. Okay, into this, what it will do is, it will get the highest employee ID into this. So now what I'll do is I'll update that lvemp by 1. Okay. So lv underscores emp equal to lv underscores emp plus 1, which means, sorry, which means our new employee id is created and it is saved in lv underscores emp. Now you need to push that into the you need to push that into the database table. Okay.
Right.
So you need to push that into the database table. So before that, you need to create a uh, one more internal tape, one more work area for. Okay, you can directly push this. Okay, we'll try like that. Okay, now where we are storing all the data, ls underscores emp, right? ls underscores emp equal to uh, lv emp. Okay, now what we did, we are getting the maximum employee id and we are storing it in local variable, and we are incrementing it by 1, and we are storing it again in the internal table. In which field we are storing this? In employee column, right? In employee column and storing it. Now now I'm inserting ls employee, ls underscores emp, ls, sorry, I'm inserting which table we are inserting into zma underscores gw underscores emp from. What is the uh, e- data that we have in ls underscores emp. Okay. See, one, now we are checking if it is successful, then our size sub RC will become 0. Size sub RC equal to 0. Okay. And if so, if it is successful, then what we are doing, we are sending the same response to the front end, er entity equal to ls underscores emp. Okay. Now I'm saving it, checking. Okay. The type ls emp cannot be converted to the type of. Okay, move corresponding ls emp ls emp in to ls emp to er underscores entity. Save, check, activate. See, now we have written our code. Now in the debug we'll see line by line what it is happening. Now I'm putting the debugger here. Now I'm going here and I'm going to execute it. Now what is the employee name that we are going to create? Raju, and his number of days present was 22. Now I'm executing it. See, it has triggered. What is the first line which will get the data whatever the user has passed? We that will get from ES data, and we are pushing it to the LSEMP. LSEMP has the structure of the table. What it has the three fields. What is employee, employee name, and number of days present. Okay, in right now LSEMP has the empty data. So once I execute this statement, LSEMP has some data. It has Raju and number of days present. Employee ID, we are not passing anything. That's why it is 00. And so what we are doing, we are getting the highest employee ID from the database table, and we are moving and we are pushing into the lv underscores emp. Right now lv underscores emp has the empty value which is 00. Whenever I execute this, it will has the highest employee ID. Highest employee ID is 24. Now the next person who is joining will it has the employee ID of 25. So I am incrementing this number by 1. So now our LV underscore emp is 25. Now the use new employee ID is 25. So we are pushing that into LSEMP. Right now in LSEMP, user has passed the employee name and number of days present. So we need to create the employee ID. Once we have created it, we are pushing that employee ID into this LSEMP. So now if you see the LSEMP, we have pushed our employee ID as well. So now once we have created our LSEMP correctly, then we are pushing our LSEMP data into this table. So if see this if this is successful, our size bar C will become 0. Our size bar C is 0, which means this line is executed successfully. Then what we are doing, we are sending the same response to the front end as well in the form of ER entity. Okay, now I am clicking F8. See, it is 201 means created, and we are getting that then employee ID is created 25, Raju 22. So now I'm going to check with the help of get entity whether that employee ID is created or not. Employee equal to what is his ID? His ID is 25. So I'm copying this, Control C, and pasting over here. So now I'm executing get request. See, we are getting the record from the backend, which means it is saved successfully in the table. We also going to check in the table level. A record is created successfully. See, Raju is created. It has the number 25. You understood, Raju and Vivek, what we have done?
Yes,
Yeah,
Harish.
Harish.
Clear, right?
Yes, Harish.
Okay. Now we are going to implement the get entity. Sorry, which one? Update entity.
Delete. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to redefine it first. Okay. What I'll do is I'll at the same time I'll redefine the delete entity as well, because we are going to see that as well. So I have redefined both. Now I'm going to implement the update entity first. So I'm clicking on filter. Now I'm going to update entity. In update entity, what I need to do. So if you want to pass the update entity, then you need to pass. So suppose if you want to update the name of this person, what is the name of the person? GDFG is there. Now you want to edit. What is the ID on what basis you will update his name? On the basis of
Employee number.
employee ID. So you need to pass the employee ID, okay, along with the payload. Okay, so what we are doing is now I want to change the employee. So which one we are going to change? We are going to change the number 18. So first what I'll do is I'll get that employee ID record first. Okay, now I'm getting that record. Okay, now I'm using this as a request. So now you need to mention here what name you want to change. Now I want to change his name to Kumar, and his number of days present was not 11, it was 32 something. Okay, 30. Okay, his number of days was present 30. And here you need to pass the employee ID, and which method, HTTP method we need to use. You can use either put or
Put.
patch. Put means
Okay.
you can send only the you don't need to pass the complete
Single
structure,
record.
whereas in patch you need to pass the complete structure. So right now I'm using put. Okay, when I'm executing this, it will give you an error because we have implemented the update, we haven't implemented the update entity. So let's go and implement the update entity. Okay, so where you will get all these details, IT key tab. In IT key tab, what you will get the whatever the value that user has passed. like how we did in get entity. So let's go and copy that from the get entity. So in data, so we are passing, we are copying this and we are pasting over here in update entity. Okay, in update entity, what we have did now, in in WA key tab, we have the employee ID, right? Employee ID, which employee ID, whatever the user has passed here. Now we need to get this payload. How we'll get that payload? Using the IO data provider class. Okay, so we have already did that in create entity. So using that, I'm going to get the IO data provider class. Okay, update entity IO data provider class. Now we got everything from the front end. Okay, in WA key tab, we are getting what is the key value that the user is passing, and in the LSMP we are getting the payload. Now we got everything. Now what you need to do, you need to update the table. Okay, how update is the keyword which we'll use to update the table. What is our table name? ZMA underscores GW underscores EMP. Okay, set. Okay, you need to we are setting the values. What values we are setting? We are setting, okay, sorry, what values we are setting? We are setting, we are updating the employee name. Employee name equal to what where we are getting? We are getting from LSEMP, ls underscores emp, and which value from which in the employee name field we are getting. Okay, and along with that, we are also updating the number of days, right? Number of days. You can click control shift control space bar. You'll get all the list. ls underscores emp uh, dash number of days present. Okay, uh, you are updating these two fields. Where and where is our WA key tab? In WA key tab, we are getting, we are user is passing to which employee it has to be updated. In this val, sorry, in employee, employee equal to WA key, in WA key tab, in work area, we are getting the value. In the in that we have this value. Okay, so what we are doing, we are updating the database table. Set employee name as whatever the value that we are getting from the front end, employee name as well as the number of days present. In the where condition, we are passing whatever the value that the user has passed here, 18. Okay, and now we are checking if it is successful or not. If size subbar c equal to 0, it will become 0 if it is successful. The system variable will become 0 if it is successful. And if, okay, in that I'm telling move corresponding, okay, move corresponding. Why move corresponding is not coming automatically? Move corresponding, ls underscores emp to where we to er underscores entity. Okay, so now I'm going to execute this. I'll put the debug in the debug. You will see line by line what we are doing. Okay, I'm checking. Oh, we have an error. Set employee name. Employee name, we don't have that field. Employee underscores name is there. Employee underscores name. Saving, checking, activating it. Okay, we have redefined the delete entity method. So I'm undoing the read, save, check, activate. Now we don't have any errors. Now what I'll do is I'll put the debugger in update entity and let's see what's happening in each line. Okay, read. Okay, now I'm executing this. What we are doing, we are updating the employee id, we are updating the name and number of days present of an employee whose employee id is 18. Right now right now what it is gdfg and the number is 11, but we are updating it to kumar and the number of days present is 30. So in order to update this, we have written the code in our method. Now I'm using the put operation and I'm executing this. I hope I have put the breakpoint. I have put the breakpoint. So I'm getting, clicking on execute, it will trigger that one. So first we are getting the IT key tab. In the IT key tab, we are getting the value that is passed. It is an internal table, so we are pushing it to an work area, which can accommodate only one record. So I am putting that into a WA key tab. In the WA key tab, we are getting that value employee, and the value is 18. Oh, so this is fine. Now we are going to get the payload which we have passed in the left hand side. In the that you can get using IO data provider. In the ES data, okay, why this has become like this? Desktop 3, okay. The and in the ES data, we'll be getting that payload and we are pushing it to the LSM. Right now, LSM is empty. So once you execute this statement, LSM will be automatically filled. LSM has the data Kumar and 30. Okay, and now we are updating this table employee name with the data in LSEMP, where the employee ID is what we are getting from the WA key tab. Okay, okay, we have this statement is executed. If if this is successful, then our size bar c will become 0. Now I'm checking if the whether size bar is equal to 0 or not. So it is 0, which means our statement is executed successfully. And one, if it is successful, we are passing the same to the front end for the user. Okay, in the ER entity, we are pushing the same whatever the record that is updated. Okay, we haven't executed this. Once I'll go to the next step. In the ER entity, we'll see the updated data. We are passing it as a response to the front end for the user. Now it is 204, which means thus it is successfully executed. Now I'm passing the same employee ID and I'm using get method and to check. See, it is updated Kumar with number of days present as 30. Let's go and check in the table. Now I'm refreshing the table. See, 18 and the name is Kumar. Number of days present is 30. Now we'll go fast and we'll do the delete function as well. Now I'm putting on filter here. So I'm redefining this method. Okay, now I'm going to write the method for delete entity. For the delete entity also, what is the one that you need to pass? You need to pass the employee ID. From where we'll get that employee ID? We'll get from IT key tab, whatever the user has passed. So we have already written this one, so I'm just copying it and pasting over here. Okay, in the IT key tab, whatever the user has passed, we'll get that one. Then you just need to simply delete it from the table. delete from Delete from what is the table? ZMA underscore GW underscore EMP. Okay, where employee, from where we are getting from this work area WA underscore key tab, WA underscore key underscore tab. Okay. um, from in which field we are having the value, in the value field. Okay. Okay. If psi sub r c equal to 0, it's not important. Okay, so I'm just stopping here. Check, activate. So I'm putting a breakpoint here. Okay, now I'm going to delete. So what I'll do is I'll going to delete the same record 18 itself. So I'm executing it. It will trigger. So in the IT key tab, in the WA key tab, whatever the user has passed, we'll get that value. In the W key tab, you are having this employee number, and after this delete statement, our record gets deleted from the table. F8 204. The status is green, which means that record is deleted successfully. Now I am going to see if there is any employee ID with 18. There is no employee ID with 18 because we have deleted it. Okay. Okay, at this point we'll stop our class today. Whatever we have seen, we have implemented all the 5 CRUD operations, and we have also, I thought of completing this also, but we have tested it in GW client as well. We have done all the CRUD operations. We'll tomorrow we'll see the query options. Okay, we'll stop the class at this point.